The next match is the four-way match for the Intercontinental title, which is just under 10 minutes. This one is Road Dogg versus Goldust versus Ken Shamrock versus Val Venis. Goldust is accompanied by both the Blue Meanie and Ryan Shamrock as part of this. First of all, Shamrock and Val Venis get counted out as they brawl away from the ring. Then when Shamrock comes back, he gets angry, hits belly-to-belly suplexes on Road Dogg and Goldust. Then Ryan Shamrock trips Goldust, presumably by accident, and Road Dogg reverses a power slam into a pin and pins the Gold One. After the match, Goldust and Blue Meanie tell Ryan to leave. They're not very happy with Ryan Shamrock. Just so you know, Ryan Shamrock isn't actually Ken Shamrock's sister. It was a kayfabe thing. Matt?
I didn't quite know what to say about this one, because it wasn't... Again, do you know how to use my phrase? It was neither good nor bad. It was kind of there. The four-person, the fact that it was like a tag match, I felt was a bit odd, and not a rule that I would particularly like seeing them use on a regular basis. It just felt a little bit out of place, and it was, especially the way that the way that the match went. I mean, they got rid of two of them and then ended up down to the last two fairly quickly. That seemed a bit odd, but yeah, it was interesting to see some of these. Like, I mean, if nothing else, it was interesting to see just some of the Attitude Era specific characters, like Val Venis as a porn star. What the hell? I think we have established that I am a Ken Shamrock fan. The one thing that was kind of sad about this, and I know you talked about this on one of the last pods that we did, Ben, is that, you mentioned that Ken Shamrock ended up doing the whole he snaps, beats people up type thing on a fairly regular basis afterwards. And yeah, you seem to have had his spot on, and that's pretty much what he ended up doing here, which I did enjoy, but I will say I enjoyed it less than the last time I saw him do it. So if that was, the case of him repeatedly doing that on a regular basis afterwards, yeah, I could see the star starting to fade with Ken quite a bit, which was sad. I can't remember exactly what the line was. I mean, King was saying something to do about Blue Meanie. I'm sure it was basically in the lines of his parents should have used birth control. It was something like that, which really stood out in a bad way. I was like, what the hell is that about? I mean, not cool, King, but the finish was okay. It was what it was. It wasn't too bad, I suppose. It was okay. Road Dogg super popular with the crowd. So at least the guy they wanted to win certainly won. I think that this probably could have been a bit better, actually, given some of the guys they had in there. But it was fine for what it was. It was something little bit something decent in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it again. Ken Shamrock just should have been pushed miles further than he was, and I think he should have joined the corporation for a kickoff. I think he would have been quite a good babyface against the corporation, but I think that might have kind of ruined his chances. But the guy's fantastic, and I liked his flipping stuff. I think WrestleMania 14, I think I would have said that was my match of the night as well, the Rock Shamrock one. He's fantastic. I love the inadvertent low blow on Goldust by Val Venis. I thought that was brilliant, where he whips into the corner and then falls down on his nether regions. And the only other note is Blue Meanie I think it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant at ringside. Thought it was entertaining as hell. Yeah, again, it just really entertained by it. I was really on a roll with this show, so I loved it.
It was again okay. I think the thing for me, and I do acknowledge this, is that this show is not boring in any way. It passes very easily. It glides down very, very easily because you've not really got the time to be bored. You've not really got the time to be kind of like, why are we still watching this? Why is this happening? It's just boom, 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 stuff's happening. But there's nothing, you can't pick anything out from me that's any decent, really that decent, until you get to the main event and maybe the X-Pac Shane McMahon match. Like, these matches are either average or below average. That's what they are. There's nothing that stands out as being really, really good, as I say, except for those two. And I only give Shane McMahon and X-Pac above average. Don't go mad for it. It's just a decent match. So yeah, for me this was fine, but again, another multi-person match, and again only there because they want to put a bunch of people together that they've already had loads of matches with before. So they're like, well, the only option we've got is to chuck another guy in there. I think at St. Valentine's Day Massacre it was Val Venis against Ken Shamrock possibly against Goldust. Can't even remember, one of the two. Val Venis and Goldust had a feud in the autumn of the previous year, so they kind of just chucked Road Dogg in last minute. He won the Intercontinental title between the February pay-per-view and WrestleMania. Again, another pattern emerging there of titles just being flipped all over the place, not meaning anything.
And the other thing with that is, I mean, and I didn't like this, I remember the time.
I know what you're going to say.
Prior to this, it was Billy Gunn
yeah.
who was wrestling for the IC title, or vying for it, and Road Dogg going for the hardcore, and literally on one Raw, all of a sudden tonight we're going to have Road Dogg at the IC title, and they both won it on the same night.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I'm pretty certain they advertised the WrestleMania matches as such as well with Billy Gunn in this. I might be wrong there. I might be wrong there, but yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah,
I remember at the time thinking it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but you're absolutely right. That's exactly what I thought you were going to say. And to be honest, it feels like it works better if Road Dogg's in the hardcore match and Billy Gunn's in this one. They just fit in those matches better. And I just think this was them being a bit kind of, we're going to swerve everyone by doing something that they don't expect. And to your point, Matt, about the tagging in and out, I've got to be honest, I'd rather that than what we get with multi-way matches. And I'd rather also them have them elimination rules, because I just think that the triple threat and fatal four ways just allow them off all the time to have this lazy booking. They allow them to kind of do the obvious thing where they have the title change hands when the champion's not part of it, which is silly as well. It doesn't really make sense. Like, the champion's supposed to have an champion's advantage. Let's just have an elimination match at least, so that you still have to be involved in you still have to be pinned to lose the title. I don't want multi-way matches at all, but if you're going to have them, I'd rather them be elimination rules at least, and I'm quite happy for them to be tag rules too.
I'd take the elimination part. In fact, I think that'd be a great idea. Just the tag bit could do without for me.
Fair enough. Road Dogg's very over. The New Age Outlaws were very over at the time. Shamrock is less over than he was a year before, and it's like what I said, like you said, you enjoyed this less than the previous year. That's what everyone was thinking, because it was happening all the time. As I said, SummerSlam 97 is when it really stands out. They go ballistic. The fans love it. They eat it up, and after that they just can't stop pressing the same button, and it just to diminishing returns in the end.